Does your child currently have access to a SENCo, or are you currently having difficulty interacting in a positive way with one? A SENCo is a qualified teacher that specialises in special educational needs and provides extra support for a child or a young person that has individual needs and differences. The SENCo helps parents to access information, guidance and support about the special educational needs process, and they're a great link between home, the school and the local authority. Having positive interactions with a SENCo eliminates confusion and frustration and makes the process feel a lot more easy along the way, as well as allowing parents to learn a lot more as time goes on. So in this video, I want to talk about my positive experiences as a parent as I've interacted with SENCos, as they have supported my son's conditions of ADHD and autism within mainstream education, and how it has had a positive impact on his progress. My name is Brenda and I'm a parent mentor and a fellow parent. I support parents raising children with individual needs and differences to stay empowered whilst they navigate through procedural challenges. And in this video, I want to talk about how my child has accessed support from a SENCo whilst he's been in mainstream education, whilst he's been in primary, secondary and in further education too. Here in the UK, every child should have access to a SENCo where needed. And that's support around their well-being, whether they have a diagnosis or they don't have a diagnosis. They even support with issues around bereavements and emotional challenges. So, as mentioned, I'm going to talk about what makes a SENCo great from the perspective of a parent, which will be different from the perspective of the local authority or Ofsted. Because as a parent, when you're leaving your child in the hands of another person that has a duty of care to support their needs, it is a big deal. So, how does a SENCo help? They oversee the day-to-day operations of the school's policies, coordinating provisions for children, liaising and advising fellow teachers and managing the teaching assistants. So as mentioned before, I've dealt with many SENCos and I've had some negative experiences as well as positive experiences. So here is what I feel makes a great SENCo. And the first thing is that they are a good listener. Good listening in the sense of active listening. When I'm able to share how I feel or what I want to say, or how I want to explain things, having a SENCo that is there and attentive is that you can see that there's action taken on what you have shared. So for an example of good listening for me was where a SENCo came to me, and many months back we had a conversation where I shared my concerns about challenges that my child was receiving. And then they had came back to me several months later and shared what their thoughts were based on what I had shared, and was able to implement some support for my child. For me, that's where I was able to recognise the impact of a good listener. And this is different when you don't actually see any action taken. You can share and you can provide feedback, but sometimes that feedback doesn't result in action. Now, this doesn't necessarily need to require action all the time, but you know when the time is right and action has been taken based on that interaction that you've had makes a big difference. The second great thing is having an empathetic approach. The way that they communicate with you has a very great impact in how you receive the information and how you give information. And when it's said in a certain way that there's a comfort level to share, it makes things a lot more easier, because it provides that understanding where you don't necessarily feel judged. And also it allows for their knowledge on what they know on special educational needs to be applied in your situation in a way that is meaningful, rather than judgmental or full of assumptions or dictated in a way that it has to be the way it is. And the third great thing is that a SENCo is open. Open in the sense that their dialogue is not one way, but it flows. It is a collaboration. It gets really frustrating when you're not expecting people to have all the answers, but you just want that communication to flow so that you know where you stand. When a SENCo is open, it really does make a difference. So one of the parents that I worked with mentioned how her SENCo approached her and asked whether she would like to be part of the governance meeting. And as someone that has a child that has special educational needs, she could use her experience and her insight to support all the other parents within the school. Having this open dialogue and this assertiveness from a SENCo works for not just one parent, but all the other parents. And this has a massive impact on how all of us together as a community experience our children's learning within mainstream education. As you know, going through the special educational needs system is quite daunting. It can be confusing at times, and staying empowered is really important. So when you're working together as a team and communication is flowing, it really does make you feel at ease, so you can attend to what is important, and that is nurturing and loving and guiding and protecting your child, and ensuring that those that have a duty of care are able to be in a position to provide them with the best so that they can reach their potential. And to be able to provide and feel that trust to share how you feel about your child's challenges or what you observe as what's happening, and trust that they would be able to access the right information and bring that to your child is so crucial. And I'm saying this because I have experienced when it does go wrong, and I have experienced the negative impact that comes with a SENCo that doesn't necessarily have those particular traits. And through having that negative experience, I can definitely recognise when there's a great SENCo, because it really emphasises when they use those particular approaches, how good it feels and how positive the impact it has on my child's progress. And if you've got a SENCo that has those traits, I'm sure you recognise them too, and I'd love to know what your experiences are, so please share in the comments section. So if you're having challenges navigating through the special educational needs process, why not have a look at some of my other videos? I provide some videos about staying empowered and some nuances that we experience. And if you like what you're hearing, why not subscribe, because I'm here to provide some more videos as time goes on. But in the meantime, stay focused, stay empowered, and keep creating progress. Thank you for listening.